this should be about the focus of the situation we're in today and how we got here. And in the short term of history, it was your previous leader, Councillor Core, in the run-up to the elections last year and in the press afterwards, saying any talk of bankruptcy was a lie. Not unlikely. It was outright a lie, was the word she used in the local press and was reported. Now we're finding out earlier from Councillor Letts that the only reason we avoided that bankruptcy was the decision to call in external help because we couldn't do it in-house. And that external help came in, I think, about 1 or 2 months after any talk of bankruptcy was a lie. So something isn't adding up here. And that goes to Councillor Filkers of being honest with the electorate about what's happening. Because you talk the talk, but when you actually look at your actions and what you're saying, I would love to believe with the passion you say it in here that that's what we get. But I've just gone through the restaurants at Potter's Court, Erskine's Court, the way we treated residents. That's the absolute opposite of what you're saying is the way you want to treat them. What you say here and then your actions and what you go out, and I know you've apologised for that, but we keep having the same pattern. We talk about election promises and pledges. Well, I've been around long enough to go through a number of elections where we've had the 1 house a day, then we've had the 5,000 home programme, then we've had house building factories. Every single time the Labour Party locally has gone out with a list of this is what we'll deliver, not once can I remember you actually delivering on one of those things. And not only do you not deliver, generally I've learned you do the opposite of what you said you were going to do to people. That's not being honest. So I look forward to this May and seeing what the promises are going to be this time. And you know what? I might just think, what's the opposite of what you say? Because that's probably what we'll get. Maybe it will be changed. Maybe we'll have some honesty from the local Labour councillors and candidates. But I haven't seen it to date. I, on the other hand, and my colleagues here, will stand on everything we've said. We stand on what we put out in the elections and we are honest. And that's why it might be hard work and I might lose some elections, but I keep coming back because people realise the mistake they make when they vote Labour. And we will see that pattern again. And I like the way time has to start from 2010, because then you can forget everything that happened before that. But I would say just Google. I think it was Alistair Darling. And when he was asked, and I think it was a BBC article, around what would it mean if Labour won the 2010 general election. And I believe his exact words were the cuts would be deeper than even the 1980s, which at the time you're there. You can Google it, you can say no. I'm happy if anybody wants to Google it and say I've got this wrong, because it's reported on BBC and I've just Googled it and looked at it. BBC. You've got Guardian, you've got BBC. I've just Googled his exact words before standing up. So if anybody wants to do a point of information and say me wrong, because I'm just going on what I've Googled. And this is why I'm saying you don't listen to what we say. You think you know everything. You think you're right. You don't listen to that debate. So while I appreciate we had Alderman Barnes-Andrews saying work together, my challenge to Alderman Barnes-Andrews would be, how do you work together when every time you say something, you're just ignored? You're not listened to. That makes an environment where it's almost impossible. But you know what? We won't give up hope. We will keep saying the right things. We will still be consistent on this side. Now, whether the Labour group choose to listen to it, that's out of our control. But I think there needs to be some honest reflection that we're only in this mess because you refused to listen. And worse than refusing to listen, you went out to the electorate and said every word we were saying was a lie. Well, it's only taken a few months to prove that wasn't the case. And as I say, I find it hard when we talk about shoo-ins for parliamentary seats, when we talk about, and I see the literature that goes out around dishonesty and Mr. Johnson and how his lies, but then I look at what have you done yourself? And actually, I know which record stands up more than the other. And that's the problem. That is the problem. You need to start being honest with yourselves, honest with the city. And that starts by realizing the only reason we're in this mess. And you say it's a way of it's a way of the city being able to use its own money in a different way. It's not. You're taking the money of our children. You're taking the future away because you're borrowing and you're debt. And my worry is this is exactly the blueprint for if we do get a Labour government next, just like every other one, that's what we'll see. We'll see uncontrolled spending. We will see a situation that makes this country weaker. That, Lord Mayor, unfortunately, is the legacy of Labour, and history always repeats itself when Labour are in control.